Why? So, I hope I'll survive this, because tonight among us is Scott Anderson, the guy who wrote this really beautiful book. And believe me, even if you don't like the film, which I hope you will, please read the book, because it's really, really great stuff. And the thing about this book is that you could actually make 3 movies out of this book. Really, there's so many good things in it. And I just read it recently, and it's a good read even after 20 times. So I would like to say hello to him. He's among us somewhere. Hello, Scott. I hope you survive this as I do. I don't think we need to introduce him, but his name is Branko Djuric, and he's been in all of my films. And the reason why you're all here tonight. I thought that was the reason. Okay. So here he is, Colin Farrell.
Thank you all.
Thank you. These are probably the longest credits in history. But I prefer to put it in the end. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to invite, we're going to do Q&A. So I'm going to invite back Colin, producer, Alan Maloney, Dr. Talzani, who still has his gun, so don't ask any bad questions. Branko, Djuric. And of course, Mr. Colin Farrell. Okay, shoot.
But whether he dealt with other people in war zones that had dealt with post-traumatic stress disorder.
It's funny, I hear Mr. Farrell and I feel like I should call my dad and put you on the phone to him. It was my initial, I was like, Mr. Farrell, I wonder what he does. I met Denis, I know you didn't ask this, but I met Denis and we spoke for 2 hours the first time we met in Los Angeles, and he talked a little bit about the script and about how it had come to him through Scott's book and how he had done an adaptation, and he sent me the script in a week. I had seen No Man's Land and loved it, and I really wanted to do the script, and then as we said, it was a matter of these boys between them being able to get the funding, because it wasn't an easy sell. It's a slow burn. It's quite a contained piece. And thereby started when I got the money together, started the process of just thinking about it, and I had Scott's book as a reference point, which I underlined some of the more internal commentaries. Scott is the writer, speaking of the emotional battle that was going on within the character, and that wasn't necessarily in the script, so they were kind of like benchmarks for me just personally to go back to, and it just became kind of a ritual that gave me comfort, like a baby's blankie, literally. And then I was just talking to the beautiful Damir, I can never say his surname, Damir Shagwell, who's a Bosnian war photographer, who works for Reuters. And Denis met Damir during the war in Sarajevo, and they became friends, and they've been friends ever since. And Damir, for me, was one-stop shopping. He had every bit of experiential information and experiential thought and feeling about what it was to witness people do the most atrocious of things that human nature can allow a person to do. And I went to Sarajevo and spent some time with him, and it was just that, you know, and reading some books about the earlier boys and the forming of the Magnum Agency, and looking at photographs from today's world, and reading the newspaper, and that kind of, you know, so, and then I ate tuna. That was the other part of it, so, You know, but it was all there from Denis' script, which was withdrawn from Scott's book, and then you just use your imagination and any other experience that somebody else is generous enough to share with you that they have had. You try and own them in whatever way you do. You know. Cheers.
With Christopher Lee's character, I'm wondering if you have any comment on that in terms of what allowed you to your character to connect with that psychiatrist as opposed to, say, the first one that you saw.
It can. There's very few things that are definitive in life, in my humble opinion. There are some things, I'm sure, we'll not get into them, but very few. And the idea that somebody has to experience something directly to help somebody else get through the same experience, I don't necessarily believe that is a definitive. I don't believe that that's necessarily the case. I know personally, when I went to, I'm not going to get into stuff, but it's no secret, when I went off to rehab, I had 2 doctors that helped me out. The first one was incredibly well educated, and it had a good record of helping people out, but she wasn't for me. Because I wanted to talk to somebody that had been to places that I'd been to. And so it was just preference. And with that in mind, I think that was very much the same thing with Mark as a character. He wouldn't allow himself to, maybe it's ego-driven, maybe it's that simple, but if it is, then that's the healthy aspect of the ego, and the ego forcing you to maybe choose wisely personally for yourself, I don't know. But that was it. It was because of Joaquin's experience, and because he had seen the things, and he had smelled the smells, and he had looked into the eyes of some of the people that Mark had looked into the eyes of also. Look, be a lady to them. And why would you? I suppose for me personally, it was a bit depressing, yeah. I wasn't in the most jovial headspace for 3 or 4 months. The diet, while having a very specific objective and understanding that there would come a time where I would come off the diet and put my weight back on, the diet was mentally and certainly physically, of course, but very mentally taxing as well. And I mean, the subject matter is, again, it's a lot of guilt and a lot of pain that this man is engulfed by, you know, the whole way through the story, pretty much, except for the moments of levity between myself and Jamie Simmons, who played David. There was room to play in there, but outside of that, he's always suppressing, but the manifestations of what he has seen throughout the 10 years were taking their toll in every aspect of his life. So, you know, I very much go, it's only acting, and I understand that, but if you're even acting and somebody screams at you from the pit of their gut and they tell you before they do it and they say, I'm just going to scream at you now, but I love you and you know I'm not angry at you, but let's just try this. It's not fucking nice. It's not nice. If somebody that really gives you the heads up and they love you and you're after having a great night and you're all cool, it's not nice. So you take it with you a little bit. It's incomparable what I went through to what the guys who really do it through. It's incomparable. But personally, maybe I'm oversensitive, it stays with you for a while.
Thank you. Usually I always trying to find some common ground with the character, between me and character I played, but this time I didn't find any single point. So except of the gun. so I decided, I said to myself, okay, I have to act a little bit more than usually. The first time I saw a movie now, and I'm so touched with Colin, Colin's acting, and if there is any justice in the world, it will be Oscar for main role.
I'm afraid that's all the time we have. Thank you, guys.